Today we're going to talk about absolute value. So if you recall from your Algebra 1 days, absolute value looks like this. So they're those bars that you see. And sometimes kids are like, oh, it makes a negative into a positive. I want to do a little bit better than that and figure out why it doesn't make a negative into a positive. So first off, you need to understand that the bars represent distance. So when you see a number inside bars, I'm talking about the distance that number is from 0. So for your first example, if you see 7 inside a pair of bars, I'm talking about the distance from 0 to 7, which in turn is just 7. So when you see bars with a negative 7 inside, it means what's the distance from 0 to negative 7? And that's still 7. All right, so one of those important things that we have to understand is distance has to be positive. So you can't take negative 7 steps. You can take 7 steps forward, you can take 7 steps backward, but you can't walk negative steps. All right, it doesn't work like that. So we're just going to do some PEMDAS problems with some absolute value, refresh your memories from those Algebra 1 days. All right, we treat bars like parentheses at first. You have to do the math that's in them. So we have to do 3 minus 12 first. All right, now we just bring the bars down. We haven't actually used the power of the bars. So we're still going to keep those in the problem. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. And now you address the bars. So this means the distance to negative 9 and the distance to negative 5. Now the distance to negative 9 is 9. The distance to negative 5 is 5. So there's no need for the bars anymore because I already took that into account. So what we want to do is replace our bars with parentheses. And then just bring down everything else that we haven't used yet. All right, so we know we have to multiply before we can add. So I'm going to multiply these together and then add to get 2. So we'll do another one. You look inside your bars. Your choices are subtraction or division. Division does come first, so you are going to do 27 divided by 3, which is 9. You're going to bring your minus down, your 4 down, your bars, and your 3. Now you still haven't gotten the bars down to a single number, so you want to do 4 minus 9 next, which gets you negative 5. Bring down your 3 and your bars. Now you're ready to address the absolute value of negative 5. So the distance from 0 to negative 5 is 5. You're going to change your bars into parentheses. You want to keep the 3 out here. And then we finish up by multiplying. So the answer is going to be 15. Now 3 and 4, we're going to do a little bit of substitution. So instead of x, you're going to need to change that into a 4. And then instead of seeing y's, we're going to change those into negative 3. So we're going to do a little bit of replacing here. All right, we want to know that when things are side by side, it means times. So we are going to multiply by our x value, which is 4, and then multiply that by our y value, which is negative 3. We have a minus, we have a 2, and again, we're going to multiply, or you are welcome to put whatever you're substituting in parentheses. I chose to do dots for this, and then I chose to use parentheses, but it doesn't matter. You can do either or. All right, I'm going to multiply all these together. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 3 is negative 36. Minus, and now this time I'm going to do 2 times negative 3. Notice I'm not doing negative 2. I'm using 2 times negative 3. I didn't lose this minus. I brought him down right here. All right, so if I do 2 times negative 3, I get negative 6. The absolute value of 36 is 36. When you subtract a negative, it's the same thing as if you add a positive. So final answer is 42. All right, last but not least, we're going to switch out our x's for negative 4. So anywhere you see an x, you want to change that to a negative 4. Side by side means times. You just want to be careful here. You're supposed to copy this minus, and then you're supposed to write negative 4. So I should see kind of like a double minus thing going on here. So we're going to go ahead and multiply these together. 6 times 4 is 24, negative 24. and then we're going to subtract 4 from that to get negative 28. Minus 3. 8 minus negative 4 is 12. And then we have to ask ourselves, what's the distance to negative 28? And that's just 28. What's the distance to 12? That's just 12. Right, multiplication would come before subtraction. So we're going to do 28 minus 36 for that, and we'll get negative 8. So I kind of want to break this lesson up into chunks. The first chunk is just doing some review PEMDAS problems that have absolute value in them. The next set is actually going to be solving equations, things with equal signs that have absolute value in them. So when you're ready, you can click on the next video link and we will proceed.